I want to announce Vetted's brand new merch line. Our Believe hat that you can see right here. Looking good. Our Believe t-shirt. This thing is awesome, I promise you. Go to vettedmerch.store. Check it out. Let me know what you think. What's up, Vetters? Patrick here with Vetted. Today we're talking about this.
The marketplace has decided the energy transition is taking place and will take place. It must take place. And that energy transition is producing enormous amounts of new companies, new ideas, new technologies, which are going to facilitate this transition. And we're seeing it all over the world.
As for the Antarctica stuff, that's what I find more interesting. I do find it interesting that a succession of political leadership over the decades have gone to Antarctica and come back changed somewhat. I've had conversations with people in Washington in the last few weeks, which suggested to me that Antarctica is a very interesting place to be looking. One thing I'm aware of is that there's at least 2 American secret bases in Antarctica that I've been apprised of. I'm still doing a lot of research on Antarctica, and I'm quite open with people. I'm very, very interested in hearing from anyone who's worked there, who has any knowledge. I've been in touch with a guy from Australia who served down there for many, many years with Australia's Antarctic Survey. And he's given me the most extraordinary image, which I'll be bringing you shortly, of a craft, a metallic spherical object that he photographed with a slide film camera hovering over his sled in the middle of nowhere in Antarctica. It's as clear as day.
I was scrolling through my bank app recently, and I realized I was still getting charged for a gym membership that I haven't stepped foot in months because, I live in Spain now. And somehow I was still paying for a streaming service twice. Let's just say I felt like an idiot. All that money was just quietly disappearing every month, and I had no idea. And that's when I fired up Rocket Money. It tracks every subscription across all my accounts and lets me cancel the ones I don't want with just a few taps. They've already helped users cancel over 880 million in unwanted subscriptions. It also pulls all my checkings, savings, loans, and investments into one clean dashboard so I can finally see the full picture and actually stay on top of my spending. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spendings, and helps lower your bills so you can expand your savings. Let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join at rocketmoney.com/vetted. That's rocketmoney.com/vetted. rocketmoney.com/vetted. All right, Vetters, please hit that like button. That really helps out the videos. And of course, if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. All right, today's video is about 3 different things. The first is a bombshell new UFO photograph that Ross Coulthart claims to have received from an Australian who has visited Antarctica and captured on camera a spherical metallic craft. And Ross Coulthart apparently will be revealing that very soon. So I've got all the details. The second part is apparently Ross is claiming to be aware of 2 secret U.S. military bases on Antarctica. Okay. And we're going to be covering a little bit about John Kerry. That's right, the former Secretary of State. And apparently a trip that he had made to Antarctica and some comments he's recently made about, quote, new energy. And many people think he's talking about 0 point energy, which will be revealed to the world very soon. So let's get started.
John Kerry was the subject of conspiracy theories surrounding hidden UAP and Nazi bases during his trip to Antarctica back in 2016. BBC News Special interviewed him last month when he talked passionately about the need to adopt the new energy methodology. He stated that this new technology is coming and which will totally change the face of energy production, and dramatically, very quickly, and without people having to make sacrifices or changes to their current habits. He then went on to say that nobody can stop it. Maybe he has had the inside track all along and is now preparing the world for the holy grail of low cost or maybe even free energy. Best regards, Gavin.
I suspect John Kerry was talking there about fusion, which is apparently just around the corner, fusion energy. But all we can do is speculate. I mean, the simple fact is that, yes, there are allegations that have been long-standing that there is a thing such as, which is known as zero-point energy, energy from the quantum vacuum, which, if true, would allow unlimited energy and essentially replace fossil fuels, make them completely redundant. Imagine that. We wouldn't have to go to fight wars in the Middle East anymore because oil wouldn't matter.
All right, so let's talk about John Kerry here and this question that Ross Coulthart received on his show, right? The person asking the question claims that John Kerry recently gave a BBC News interview talking about this new energy and nobody can stop it and all of that, right? Well, I went and searched and it was really hard to find, but I found a radio interview that John Kerry recently did on BBC News that I'm pretty sure that's what this person is talking about, because if it's not this, I don't know what else it could be. I searched everywhere. John Kerry did do a video interview with BBC News that you can find on YouTube, but it's about the Middle East and the war. It has nothing to do with energy whatsoever. So anyway, let me play you this short clip that I found and see what you think.
I recorded this interview with John Kerry in mid-June whilst he was attending the Our Ocean Conference at Kenya's coastal town of Mombasa.
The marketplace has decided the energy transition is taking place and will take place. It must take place. And that energy transition is producing enormous amounts of new companies, new ideas, new technologies, which are going to facilitate this transition. And we're seeing it all over the world in things like geothermal, enhanced geothermal, in storage, in batteries, better batteries, in solar panels that now have reduced the cost of solar to almost nothing. I mean, there's an incredible transformation taking place, and people who ignore it are really doing so at their own financial risk.
All right, so, I listened to this whole interview, and it's about climate change and about renewable energies. So I'm not sure what the person that wrote in that question to Ross was really getting out of this. I don't in any way think he's talking about 0-point energy at all. I didn't get that feeling at all listening to the entire interview. I'm going to put a link in the description. Go listen to it yourself and see what you think. Now, this other part about these, Nazi UFO conspiracies connected to John Kerry going back like a decade. Well, there is some truth to that, at least the conspiracy theories in and of itself, which is kind of fascinating. I found this video on YouTube talking about a trip that John Kerry took to Antarctica and what this person thought John Kerry was actually doing in Antarctica.
In this first image, this was released by WikiLeaks. And this supposedly is Kerry going towards Hutchison's Hut. So right now we're going to take Hutchison's Hut out of the picture. And what Kerry's doing in this area is completely covered in artifacts from the Anunnaki, from their civilization. And since some of the ice is melting, these artifacts are no longer stable, and a lot of them are collapsing. And they were quite advanced. He's going to find machinery, possibly vehicles, megalithic structures, all kind of artifacts in this whole area.
All right, so I don't know. It's kind of a crazy video, but I'm going to put a link in the description. Go check it out for yourself. There's a lot of interesting John Kerry UFO related stuff out there that even in 2004, he had meetings with aliens, but whatever. Yeah, people are saying that when he went to Antarctica, there was all this, you know, he was there, the Anunnaki, right, to uncover their stuff that they had there, like this guy speculated, and not secret Nazi bases there. So, you know, it was interesting. But there is a history with Antarctica, Nazi bases, UFOs, and Joe Scott, who's a great YouTuber, kind of covered it in a video from a couple years ago. I thought it was kind of fascinating. Take a look at this.
Speaking of monsters, some people believe that Nazis built a secret base in Antarctica where they took Hitler at the end of World War II. There have been no shortage of Hitler actually survived stories that happened since World War II. This is just the Antarctica version of it. And people who believe in this story also believe that from this base they were able to defeat American and British military by shooting down their planes with the use of UFOs. The US did eventually destroy this base in the 1950s with nuclear weapons, but you wouldn't know this because various governments around the world have, of course, concealed all this knowledge. And if a Nazi base using UFOs for war wasn't enough to blow your mind, well, guess what? We have wound up exactly where we all expected to be. Aliens. Because, Nazis flying UFOs, that's crazy. It's actually aliens. And I guess it makes a little bit of sense. If there are aliens living here on planet Earth, why not go to the most desolate and isolated place in the world to set up a bit of a base and launch all your UFOs from? And of course, there's no shortage of photographs that have weird anomalies in it that you can't quite explain that look like UFOs. So now we get to the Nazi conspiracy theories, and here's the deal about that one. There's a little bit of truth to it. Nazis did actually land and camp in Antarctica, but it wasn't for a military base. It was for a whaling station so that Germany wouldn't have to be dependent on whale oil from Norway. The Germans actually landed in an area that was already claimed by Norway called the Dronning Maud Land. But, they planted flags there and they called it Neuschwabenland. Sure, I pronounced that perfectly. But yeah, the area was abandoned by the Nazis in 1945, which makes sense because Nazis were out of power at that point. But yeah, thousands of scientists have visited that area since the 1950s. It's been mapped by satellite, aircraft, nothing's there. And speaking of the sightings of UFOs that I was talking about, most of the crashed UFOs I was talking about can easily be explained as rocks or mountain peaks or tipped over icebergs. The fact of the matter is, Antarctica is a very strange alien landscape where things don't look normal because they're not normal, and it's just really easy to apply wild and crazy stuff to the things that you see that don't make sense to you.
So, all right, you're going to have to make up your own mind of what you think about all that. But let's get to the rest of Ross's video, okay, that he made, and the other two claims that I talked about at the very beginning of the video. So now we've talked about John Kerry. Let's move on to the other two things, which are the two secret military bases that Ross is talking about, and this new UFO bombshell photograph that allegedly Ross is going to be releasing. Let's start with the two secret military bases.
As for the Antarctica stuff, that's what I find more interesting. I do find it interesting that a succession of political leadership over the decades have gone to Antarctica and come back changed somewhat. I've had conversations with people in Washington in the last few weeks, which suggested to me that Antarctica is a very interesting place to be looking. One thing I'm aware of is that there's at least two American secret bases in Antarctica that I've been apprised of. One of them was inadvertently revealed by a running app. It's a great story. It was a kid from the Australian National University who noticed that the running app he used to run up and down a hill in Canberra, when you looked online, you could see where other people were using this app. And one of them was running in the middle of Antarctica in a location which was ostensibly not any known base or location, and it turned out to be a secret United States base.
So are there these two secret U.S. military bases? Well, they don't seem to be so secret if Ross knows about them, right? And I have a lot of interesting feelings about that. To some extent, one side of me says, okay, Ross just saying things on his News Nation show. But if it was true and if it was real, why would you do that? Why would you reveal these two secret military bases, right? Like, how does that help America? I guess is what I'm asking. Right? I don't know. And who's telling them? The secret sources again. One of them, he's saying he found out from this guy who had a fitness tracker and allegedly showed stuff there in Antarctica, but there's no public record of a secret military base being discovered in Antarctica via a fitness tracker. This misconception likely stems from a major 2018 operational security breach when fitness apps exposed known military sites elsewhere in the world. The fitness tracking company Strava published a global heat map that visualized user workouts, inadvertently highlighting the outlines and patrol routes of both public and covert U.S. and allied military installations in conflict zones like Syria and Afghanistan, rather than Antarctica. Later that same year, an investigation into the polar fitness app similarly exposed the identities and home addresses of intelligence and military personnel stationed globally. Following these incidents, the U.S. Department of Defense tightened security policies, and both Strava and Polar made adjustments to their global tracking and data sharing features. But what about this other one that he's talking about, right? What are we talking about? Where? What? And again, if it's secret U.S. military base, why are you talking about it? And who told you, Ross, right? Like, who told Ross Coulthart about these secret? This is what I don't understand. Ross gets all the most secretive information that humanity has ever held goes to Ross Coulthart from his secret, super secret sources. Does that make any sense at all? And then he just talks about it freely on News Nation, right? With like ads in between, right? Like sponsorships, like what? That's what doesn't check for me, right? There's no verification of the information, never any evidence. So I don't know. Make up your own mind. Antarctica is weird. I agree. Do these two secret U.S. military bases exist? And if they're secret, how does Ross know about them? And what is the purpose? Does it have anything to do with aliens? I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now let's move on to this last claim, which is this alleged new UFO photograph that Ross Coulthart is allegedly going to be revealing soon, that he got from this Australian, I don't know, dog sledder in Antarctica.
I'm still doing a lot of research on Antarctica, and I'm quite open with people. I'm very, very interested in hearing from anyone who's worked there, who has any knowledge. I've been in touch with a guy from Australia who served down there for many, many years with Australia's Antarctic Survey, and he's given me the most extraordinary image, which I'll be bringing you shortly, of a craft, a metallic spherical object that he photographed with a slide film camera hovering over his sled in the middle of nowhere in Antarctica. It's as clear as day. And I'm at the moment endeavoring to work with him to get corroboration from members of a foreign country team who were actually with him at the time so that we can get joint corroboration of what he says he saw. Clearly, there's something going on in Antarctica, and I'm not surprised that people like John Kerry, and going right back to Admiral Byrd's very interesting expedition, Antarctica is an area we should be taking a very close interest in.
So, all right, this guy claims to have a photograph of this spherical metallic craft, right? Floating, I guess, above him while he's out on his dog sled. And I guess there was other people there with him. So Ross is trying to confirm that with these other people. And he took it on a film camera, of course. Do I want to see the photograph? Yeah, absolutely. So we'll have to wait and see. What does soon mean to Ross? I don't know. Could it be tomorrow, this week, a month from now, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months? I have no idea, right? Will it be disclosure? You know, is it just interesting? It will be interesting to see the photograph and hear the person's testimony for sure. Nothing wrong with that. And maybe the other people that were there with him too, right? Like would be the only one that would have seen this thing. What was their reaction as well? So we'll have to wait and see. I don't have any more information than what Ross revealed right there. So again, let me know what you think in the comments. All right, betters, that's it for today's episode. We'll see you guys on the next one. Remember, every day's a gift, y'all. Peace.